could surprise me. One who could even beat me.
Hello, welcome to another Marvelous video. I'm Grayson Ottaway. Sony's PlayStation 5 has been available for quite some time now. However, some excellent games were available at launch and in the recent past. Of course, many more exciting games will be coming out in the next few months. The most recent PlayStation showcase in 2021 included a slew of delights for video game fans eager to see what's in store for the next few years. We've compiled the top competitors for you, from confirmed releases to titles that we know are in the works and will be released soon. Before we do though, a request. If you like our content, please subscribe to this channel. Small click for you, but for us, it means a great deal. Marvel's Wolverine. The Wolverine video game is officially in production, with Insomniac Games on board. Following its stunning announcement during the 2021 PlayStation Showcase, Wolverine has quickly become one of the most anticipated upcoming PS5 titles on the horizon, and joins a lineup of fantastic upcoming Marvel games that we have to look forward to in the future. The unveiling trailer for Marvel's Wolverine is less than just a minute of pure delight. It starts in the wake of a barroom brawl, presumably in Madripoor's Princess Bar, with blood and bodies all over the place, while our favourite adamantium-clad mutant sips on a beer. This means Logan will not be imprisoned at the Xavier Institute this time. On the contrary, mentioning Madripoor may imply that Marvel's Wolverine will be an open-world adventure. For the time being, it's only a rumour, but sources suggest that Marvel's Wolverine might be set in a broader world that includes the Insomniac Spiderman games as well. The game trailer did not reveal anything about the actual gameplay, and by that we mean nothing at all. But of course, what the fans want to see in this game has been amply demonstrated. They want everything of Wolverine's mutant talents wrapped up in a fresh and exciting experience, of course. Isn't it a simple task, considering this Wolverine game will definitely be a PS5 exclusive? We may assume lots. We're probably looking at a third-person action-adventure in the X-Men Origins Wolverine game style. When these gory claws are engaged, the combination hit mechanic is also quite likely to be there and should be smooth to handle. Wolverine's extraordinary strength, agility, and mobility provide him with a world of options. High lunges, jump strikes, shredding techniques, and obliterating slashes are all expected. This, however, is not a new phenomenon. The Insomniac Games team should investigate his extraordinary senses and stealth abilities. Mechanics such as tracking someone's motion or hearing your target's breath from a mile away make for a fascinating encounter. The challenge with heroes like Wolverine is balancing their quick regenerating powers with a demanding gameplay experience. Representatives of the development studio spoke briefly during the PlayStation Showcase event in 2021. They claimed that motion capture would commence soon after the demonstration, implying that it may already be completed by now. Also, we subsequently learned that Walt Williams was assigned as the story director for the upcoming Wolverine game. He has been the writer for famous video game titles such as Borderlands, Civilization, Star Wars Battlefront, Spec Ops, The Line, and others. So no doubt the game is in the hands of a seasoned writer. We are most likely looking at an open-world, single-player game. The company will unlikely reduce such a character-driven drama to a multiplayer experience. However, we still don't know which characters will appear in the game. If anyone from the X-Men, or, hear me out, Deadpool shows up, then it could be a fun co-op experience as well. There is no set release date or window for Marvel's Wolverine, but if we're being honest, you should expect a long wait. Insomniac now has one team working on Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and another on Marvel's Wolverine, with the former aiming for a 2023 release date. While Marvel's Wolverine might arrive around the same same time as Spider-Man 2, there is a strong possibility it'll release later, mainly because Insomniac would want to give an emotional narrative with cutting-edge gameplay so far that they would need all the valuable time that they can get. Now, let's talk about the other, and dare I say, more famous Insomniac game that is in development.
One who could push me. One who could surprise me. One.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2, calling all Spidey fans. In a PlayStation blog article, Sony disclosed that the long-awaited sequel to 2018's Spider-Man will probably debut in 2023. The sequel to 2018's popular Spider-Man game and the spin-off are both likely to wind up on the greatest PS5 games list by the time that they are released, and with previous expertise with the brand and a more extensive cast of Spider-Man 2 villains to pick from, we may expect a much more ambitious game than we've seen from Insomniac so far. There is currently just one trailer available for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac Games debuted the first cinematic video of the game at Sony's PlayStation Showcase in September of 2021, and it's all that I have been thinking about since. The trailer gave us our first look at Peter Parker and Miles Morales working together, who is hiding in the shadows. The powerful villain appears towards the trailer's conclusion, emerging from a dark alleyway to confront Miles and Peter. The Spider-Man emblem is then shown on a black background, an apparent reference to the comic's black Simmerbite Spider-Man outfit. It's evident that Venom will play a significant role in this, and we may see Peter combat the symbiote. Insomniac has hired Candyman actor Tony Todd to voice Venom, giving the character a retro flair that may remind you of Venom from the cartoons. It's worth noting that when Marvel's Spider-Man finished, there were post-credits teasers. In one of the teasers, one could see Harry Osborn floating in a tank of what appeared to be a black, sticky ooze. Could Norman Osborn invent the symbiote to save his son? Is Harry in there somewhere? Only time will tell. The reveal video was recorded on a PS5 and it looks stunning. It's essential to watch the animations of both the heroes because you can see how Miles and Peter handle themselves differently according to their expertise and agility. We also want to see that kind of care for detail in the finished product. After viewing the trailer, you might wonder who is describing this exciting experience. There hasn't been any clear confirmation from Insomniac Games, but the voice we are hearing appears to be Kraven the Hunter, another nemesis that Peter Parker has yet to confront in-game. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is being developed by the Insomniac team that worked on Marvel's Spider-Man almost 5 years ago. Ryan Smith returns as the game director, while Brian Interhab has been named creative director. The returning Naji Jeter and Yuri Lowenthal will play Miles and Peter respectively. Thank God. Given how generous Marvel's Spider-Man and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales were with extra content, it's reassuring to learn that Insomniac is hard at work on new outfits and powers for the sequel. At this early stage, it's unclear what they will be. The trailer is only just a taste of what's in store in terms of the new skills our heroes will gain, costumes they will don, and the enemies who will try to hunt them down, said Ryan Schneider, Insomnia's head of franchise strategy. Forspoken, which was revealed as Project Athia before PlayStation 5 ever arrived, has stunning aesthetics and gameplay, but we need to learn more about the end product. The game, created by Luminous Productions, a division of Square Enix, has a lady named Fry being transferred from New York to a large parallel universe. Here, she gets superpowers and is dragged into a war between the world's people and strong entities called Tantas. Forspoken Forspoken appears to be an open-world action game with RPG features and a different, fluid traversal system. It's also the first game to demonstrate the full potential of Unreal Engine 5. A Forspoken trailer was revealed under the codename Project Athia during the PlayStation Future of Gaming September 2021 exposition, showing what to expect from the upcoming game. The debut trailer for Forspoken included a combination of gameplay and cinematic storytelling. In a flashback, Frey Holland is shown ranting to her cat about how much she despises the city after being beaten by a gang of criminals. She is then taken to another realm via a portal from a rooftop. When she arrives, a mysterious voice from her new stylish bracelet informs her that she is on an alternate version of Earth. Frey is also told that she now has magical talents which may be utilized in combat and to travel the game's massive environment at rapid speeds. Frey realizes she has been invited to this mythical realm as their final hope to combat Tanta Sela, a formidable sorceress seen fighting at the conclusion of the video. The term Tanta is meant to signify a sorceress or other wicked magic practitioner that the inhabitants of the world fear. Her fighting powers appear to be related to her bracelet. This enables her to create weapons from pure energy and unleash various spells to damage adversaries either at a distance or in close quarters. She can also use the bracelet to make a glider to travel quickly through an open environment. Forspoken is a rich RPG with various crafting systems, trade choices, levels to grind, and talents to acquire. The vast open world encourages exploration by housing a variety of XP bonuses, secret treasures, and side objectives. The first trailer had some spectacular moments. Frey may be seen using her abilities to blitz over various terrains, including towns, farms, and hilly places. She's also shown fighting multiple foes, including goblin-like monsters, humanoid knights, dragons, and boss battles with Tantas. The Tantas are claimed to be a council of beneficent sorcerers that formerly ruled over Athia. Each Tanta had specific tasks and collaborated with others to keep the society functioning, and they all appeared female. However, something corrupted the Tantas, turning the wise and loving rulers into terrible dictators. They also appear to have ceased interacting with each other and the people of Athia. Tanta Prav, who seems to be even more insane than Sela, was introduced in the second Forspoken teaser, which was shown at the Game Awards 2021 event. The encounter looks to set up a boss battle between Frey and Prav. Forspoken's accessible footage shows fluid mobility, leaping off large buildings, cliffs, and between rocks. This type of fast-paced mobility is really welcome if you want to feel like you're always on the move, especially if you're playing in a wide-open area that may often feel too huge or too empty to stimulate investigation. Frey's gameplay includes fighting a dragon in an arena, catching flying creatures, conjuring a fiery sword, turning adversaries into ice, firing magic from her wrist gold cuffs, which she can conserve to, and many other cool kinds of stuff. Despite 2 delays, all roads appear to lead to a final release date of January 24, 2023. Luminous Productions explained the delay as a strategic choice. They claim, however, that Forspoken is in its last stage of polishing and that the game pieces are now complete, implying confidence in the launch date. So far, it has been revealed that the game will be released solely on the PS5 and PC. As a result, other console owners may have to wait at least 24 months from the release date for cross-platform access. Horizon Call of the Mountain. Horizon Forbidden West for PS5 and PS4 has become one of Sony's most popular series in recent years. Horizon Call of the Mountain for Sony's next-generation PSVR2 headset marks the franchise's first foray into virtual reality. Call of the Mountain was first shown to the gaming audience at CES 2022. It will be developed by Guerrilla Games in collaboration with the new PlayStation Studios team, Firesprite, that has previously worked on PSVR titles. Sony clearly positions the game as one of the main titles for the PSVR 2 headset. This means the game requires PlayStation VR 2 hardware to play. Don't worry, you'll get it in the PlayStation Store. In Horizon Call of the Mountain, you may play as Rias, a former Shadow Kaja warrior looking for forgiveness. Haunted by a brutal history and scouted for a risky assignment, Rias has been promised freedom only in return for uncovering a new threat to the Sundom. He will need to use all of his climbing and archery talents to survive the arduous trek for answers. New and old Horizon personalities, including Aloy herself, will make contact with Rias to help him in his quest to discover the secret danger. Being prepared for every circumstance is critical to Rias's survival. Throughout Horizon Call of the Mountain, you'll encounter weapons and gadgets you'll need to learn to live against the enormous machines that you'll encounter. In the trailer, we've seen a bit of gaming, including some sick archery and climbing tasks. We already know that we'll be facing a Thunderjaw, but who or what the primary opponent will be remains unknown. We'll be hunting machines, climbing mountains, shooting our arrows, and making goods from raw materials. Horizon Call of the Mountain will also have a portion called the River Ride that will highlight the PSVR 2. This portion removes all action and allows you to take a guided on-rails tour of Horizon's gorgeous landscape. While there is a multiplayer functionality in many VR games, it can be challenging to use. Nothing in the previews for Horizon Call of the Mountain suggests that multiplayer will be integrated in any fashion, which makes sense for a franchise that has never included a multiplayer aspect up until now. Everything seen thus far has appeared to be story-driven, with little opportunity for a second player, and it makes little sense for a game like this to have a tailored competitive mode or anything of the kind. Horizon Call of the Mountain was among the first games we saw for the PlayStation VR 2, and it was correctly anticipated to be a launch title. On February 22, 2023, the game will be released with the system. Sony has been leaning further toward converting their games to PC, and there are no understandable reasons why Horizon Call of the Mountain couldn't work on a PC VR machine. Thus, this game might come to PCs as well.
릴리, 부탁해. 난 이러기 위해 태어난 거야. 이렇게 된 이상 나도 몰라요.
고용의 전사여.
Stella Blade. Project Eve was one of the most unexpected disclosures during the PlayStation Showcase in September 2021. This action game comes from the Korean game developer Shift Up Corporation, a little-known firm, yet it has outstanding visuals and fantastic set pieces. With more precise information, the game returned to the September 2022 State of Play conference under the new title Stella Blade. According to a PlayStation blog article, the title is a play on the Latin word for stars and the blade that depicts Eve, the main heroine. The first trailer established the idea of the game and provided a taste of its characters and its gameplay. The most current teaser, which debuted at the September 2022 State of Play, provides gamers a glimpse of the fantastic set pieces Stella Blade has to offer. They both suggest an action-packed post-apocalyptic sci-fi adventure. The video begins with a transhumanist old guy preaching on humanity's decline, followed by a pair of characters wandering an expansive area filled with people in hibernation. One of them asks Eve for assistance, and we get a taste of combat against scary organic-looking monsters. The blog describes Eve's landing with her colleagues on Earth's wreckage and her encounter with a survivor named Adam, who is also one of the game's main protagonists. He takes her to Zion, where the journey begins in earnest. Zion is situated beneath a bleak wasteland produced by whatever caused humanity to collapse. Adam discloses that the city is in a deep sleep owing to energy depletion, which, if allowed to continue, will result in endless darkness. Now, if we had to talk about gameplay, the action is hectic and rapid, with your character switching between melee and gun-based combat. When the game was initially introduced, a blog post described its traversal mechanics, such as scaling walls and swinging on ropes. The DualSense will allow you to experience the sense of blade cuts and skills. There are also RPG and character development hooks. Stella Blade's combat includes bullet time slowing effects, weak spot manipulation, and battle using the surrounding environment. They are just a few aspects that make Stella Blade's combat appear lively and bright. This game is set to release in the latter half of 2023 and should definitely be on your radar if you enjoy furious action games.
Are you? What happened to you?
I'm trying so hard to find you.
Sorry. Feel like I failed you.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is one of the year's most anticipated new games. Rebirth is the new name for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, with the famous RPG morphing into a trilogy of games for PS5. It will be 3 years since the initial release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but with the improved Integrate version of the game now available for PS5 and PC, there's plenty of time to catch up and go through Cloud's reimagined journey. At the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary celebration, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was announced. However, the announcement trailer's substance could be more robust. It begins with Aerith saying that the past must be forgotten for the time being, since the future, even though written, may be changed. The video then turns to Cloud and Sephiroth going towards a bridge heading into a forest, then back to them strolling together in a slightly different location, this time climbing some rocks to view a precipice. This drags on much too long before the final shot shows Zack carrying an injured Cloud, with a smattering of meaningless speech inserted between these shots. The clip isn't the greatest, but the title reveal and the promise of a release date next winter are quite enticing. Of course, one positive thing from the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth announcement video is the revelation of the improved graphic aesthetic, with Square Enix harnessing the capability of PS5 for this new RPG journey. The creative approach to real-time fighting in Final Fantasy VII Remake is a lot of fun, and if Rebirth simply builds on that base, it should be a very good time for us. The remake reintroduced the traditional material system, enabling players to improve each ability and skill to personalize each party member's build, along with aggressively attacking, dodging, and blocking players may freely swap between characters on the field. Time can be halted to cast spells, perform special abilities, employ limit breaks, and summon creatures. Final Fantasy VII Remake takes gamers on a 40 to 50 hour excursion set completely in Midgar. Aerith, Cloud, Barret, Nanaki, and Tifa escape the bleak, smog-infested Midgar in the face of tremendous hardship in the game's conclusion. To ultimately break past the final tier of the stifling city's walls, we had to combat gigantic robots, a living deity, and fate itself. Rebirth is moving gamers beyond Midgar, allowing us to explore significantly more of the realm. After all, Midgar is only a minor part of the original Final Fantasy VII. We'll finally visit Wutai Village with Gold Saucer and get our first glance at Kalm, one of the franchise's most tranquil small villages. The remake of Final Fantasy VII only contained 4 playable characters, while the original game had 9. We received a taste of Yuffie's gameplay with the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission, bringing the total to 5. Red 13 or Nanaki is ready with the group in the last stretch of Remake, even if he isn't playable. Therefore, he'll most likely be accessible right away in Rebirth. Cid, Vincent, and Kate Sith are the 3 remaining characters to be presented in Rebirth. I am most interested in seeing how Final Fantasy VII Rebirth handles each character's presence, given that the player has no say over who is in their final party during Remake. Furthermore, according to creative director Tetsuya Nomura, you will not need to have played Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VII Remake to enjoy Part 2 of the journey. He also revealed that some development on the third title has already begun, done, with the creative director stating that he has already started on the development and working towards the finish of the series. Nomura and his Square Enix teams are working with an interconnected production structure, which might mean we will not have to wait 3 years after the release of Fantasy VII Rebirth to play the final installment of this trilogy. The game is expected to be released next winter. While winter typically lasts from December to March in the Northern Hemisphere, we predict Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 to arrive in 2023. As Square Enix focuses entirely on the current generation, older platforms are being left out. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be only available on PlayStation 5. The same can be said about the next game we'll talk about, another blockbuster JRPG that will be released by Sony later next year. And that game is... Final Fantasy XVI. According to a new promo for Sony's current gen platform, the next mainline Final Fantasy game will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive for 6 months. Final Fantasy XVI has always been presented as a PlayStation exclusive, despite being previously announced for PC as well. But Sony's new PS5 commercial makes it clear, telling gamers on other platforms how long that they will have to wait to avoid spilling spoilers. Final Fantasy XVI is set to be released in the Northern Hemisphere summer of 2023. The role-playing action game depicts the narrative of the Kingdom of Valisthea and Clive Rosfield, known as the country of Rosaria's first shield. Clive is the protector of his dominant younger brother Joshua, who has the ability to call a formidable creature known as an icon. The game will have segmented open settings and an action-based fighting system that will include both melee and magic-based assaults. So let's talk about the setting a bit. Valisthea is a planet divided into 6 countries with access to magic crystals and dominants. Dominants are humans who serve as hosts for each nation's icon. Tensions between the countries rise as a disease known as the Blight spreads through the realm. Clive Rosfield, the protector of his younger brother Joshua, watches the destruction of his country and embarks on a vengeance journey in search of the terrible icon Ifrit. From the trailers, we can understand Clive starts the game as Joshua's bodyguard at a time when Valisthea is in turmoil. Clive is not Phoenix's dominant, but Joshua shares Phoenix's power with him. The duchy is assaulted with sad repercussions, and the evil icon Ifrit appears amid the following turmoil. Ifrit's actions drive Clive to seek vengeance, dragging him into the increasing conflict between the countries and the first battle in which icons fight each other directly. Final Fantasy XVI is developed by Creative Business Unit 3, a division of a franchise creator and publisher Square Enix. The creative director and principal writer are both Kazutoyo Maehiro, Hiroshi Minagawa as the art director, while Kazuya Takahashi created the characters. So far, we've only seen the main protagonist, Clive, in action, which has raised worries about whether there would be a party as in previous Final Fantasy games. However, Naoki Yoshida addressed the issue and stated there would be AI-driven party members joining you. Earlier in 2022, it was claimed that Final Fantasy XVI would include an easy mode, with producer Naoki Yoshida stating that his team is striving to help less adept players play action games. This might imply that a setting will be available to make fighting more friendly to rookies. We also know that the developers attempted to establish a combat technique that was friendly to gamers of all ability levels. According to Square Enix, the PS5 exclusive game will be released on June 22, 2023. This release date was disclosed during the Game Awards 2022, following a summer launch window earlier this year.
Now they wield it. We face the greatest Sith in generations.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. A recreation of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is finally in the works. While the original game has long been regarded as the best Star Wars game ever made, a new generation of fans will be able to enjoy it now, and that just totally excites me. It's a full-fledged remake rather than a remastered version of the 2003 original, as long speculated and shown initially off during the September PlayStation Showcase event. So far, there has only been one trailer, which was simply a teaser clip. We've heard stories of a problematic development and a possible switch to a different developer, but with the original being a stone-cold classic and the rumor mill working overtime on this one, there's still much to talk about. Here's what to anticipate from the remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Set over 4,000 years ago, before the original Star Wars trilogy events, it's difficult to exaggerate how famous Knights of the Old Republic was when it first came out. It was the first Star Wars game that genuinely felt like you were living in George Lucas's universe, and it was created by the genre's leaders at the time, BioWare. It gave you unrivaled control over your characters' stories and personalities, and it seemed like a significant expansion of Star Wars world at a time when the franchise still felt like there were strange, untapped corners of mythology to discover. However, the Knights of the Old Republic remake is not being managed by its original developers, BioWare. Instead, the accolade falls to the Aspyr crew. Those concerned about the transfer of development should rest easy. If any team knows Star Wars games as well as BioWare, it's Aspyr. Since its first release, the studio has been in charge of the original game's numerous platform ports and re-releases. It has also handled several Star Wars game porting projects for current systems. It's also worth mentioning that the original game and its sequel were never released on PlayStation systems and were only available on the original Xbox console lineup. So far, the sole trailer for the game has indicated that the remake will be a PS5 exclusive with no other platforms disclosed. Sorry, Xbox. We are still relatively early in production, so the release date is still being determined, but if I had to guess, the game should come out by late 2023 or very early 2024. Whether you are new to this particular game or one of the millions of players who already know and love it, we are in for a wild ride. When these games are released, they will undoubtedly take the gaming community by storm. Are you as eager for them as we are? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like and share button if you enjoyed watching this video. I will see you in the next one.
No matter how bitter the truth that awaits me, I will press on.